This is AP Calculus Self-Check 11.3. We're going through the solutions. So this was number 1. There it is. Okay, so we have this graph and we're trying to find that area. So that area R is going to be, my handwriting is worse on this program, I can tell. R is going to be equal to the integral from 0 to 2. 0 to 2, those are the bounds of x. And we need to say the top function, which is 6, minus the bottom function. So this is going to be, we'll do brackets here. It's going to be 6 minus 4 natural log of 3, 4 natural log of 3 minus x. And then all of that is going to be multiplied by the thickness dx. And we need to use our calculators to get an approximation here. So if I switch over to my calculator, I can just enter this manually on here without actually doing y1 and y2. Although we're going to be using these a lot, maybe it would be a time saver to do y1 and y2. y1 is going to be 6, y2 is going to be 4. Actually, 6 is easy to enter, so I'm just going to delete that one. y1 is just, we're going to have to enter this over and over again. So 4 natural log of 3 minus x. And second quit. The reason I'm entering that there is because part A, B, and C all have to re-enter this function. Alright, so when I do the integral, so it's going to be math 9, and it's going to be 6 minus y1, so 6 minus var is right, enter, enter, minus y1, and then all of that is, oh, I don't want to enter my parentheses yet, so this is going to be with respect to x. That's going to be from 0 to 2, and I get 6.817. So 6.817. Nice. Alright, moving down. Find the volume of the solid generated when R is revolved around y equals 8. So where is y equals 8? So on the graph up here, we have the y coordinate 6. So that means our line for y equals 8 is somewhere right about there. So we're going to be looking for the outside function. The outside function is now this bottom one, and then that's the top one. So if you get a negative answer, that means that you probably didn't remember which one was the outside. And I think that's fine, but for your notation, for your setup, you'll probably lose points because they're out of order. So we're going to say that our, I have to go back to our drawing tool. So we're going to say that our volume is going to be equal to, so now it's going to be revolved, so we're going to have a pi in here. So it's going to be pi, the integral between 0 and 2. And we have, so the outside function is now going to be, let's set these up first, is going to be 4 times the natural log of 3 minus x, 3 minus x, and now I'm going to subtract this 8, so minus 8, and end this first parenthesis, so it ended here, and we're going to square that. That is our entire radius now, squared, and we're going to subtract the other radius squared, so the other radius was 6, and then we have to subtract 8, so 6 minus 8, that quantity squared, and this first square bracket multiplied by thickness, and we need to enter that on our calculators. So what are we going to do? So it's going to be pi times math 9, and we can move this to the right here, math 9, and it's going to be, that's our y1, so vars right, enter, enter, y1, ooh, I need to do parentheses, so come back here, second insert, let's insert a parentheses here.
Listen up.
Yes.
What if I want to like scroll back up? How do I do that on my calculator?
Scroll up to a previous answer.
Yeah.
You can't scroll up, but you can enter a previous line by doing second enter, and if you keep hitting second enter, second enter, second enter, it goes back through the previous commands.
Oh, okay.
So y1, and then we're going to subtract 8, and the parentheses, and square that, and then we're going to subtract, and then this is going to just be negative 2 squared, so we don't need to do anything there. We can just say minus 4, because negative 2 squared is 4. If you want to enter this all manually, you can. I'm just saving time by knowing some math. And that's going to be with respect to x from 0 to 2. And, uh-oh, what did we do? Oh, yes, they are off. I don't need that one. I'm going to delete that one. Now it should work, right? There it is. I get a, wait a second.
Woo!
Is that right? 168.17.
That's what I got.
Alright, perfect. So that's approximately equal to 168.180. 168.180. Perfect, yeah, nice. Let's move down to part C. So we have this region R, and it's going to be squares. So we're dealing with squares. So volume, we need to find the integral between 0 and 2, And the side length is just going to be them subtracting from each other. So it's going to be 6 minus 4 natural log of 3 minus x. And that's going to, so that's the side of the square. And to get the cross section, we square it. And then we multiply by the thickness, dx. And what is that approximately going to be? Let's go back to our calculators and we will see. So,
oh wait, so for this one you did top minus bottom?
Top minus bottom. And this one, it does not, it does kind of matter, I think, in terms of the positive versus negative. So this one, yeah, is just top minus bottom for the square, and that will be the side length. And then remember that
So
this,
the only one where you do outside minus inside is when it's like the circle one, like
yeah,
rotating.
when it's rotating around an axis, exactly, yeah. So coming back here, this is going to be math 9. It's going to be integral of 6 minus vars right, enter, 6 minus y1. And actually I need to do all of that squared, so I'm going to come back here and insert parentheses. So parenthesis there. And we're going to square that. And that's going to be with respect to x from 0 to 2. And we get 26.267.
But what if we got the answer?
26.267. I guess you can still get the answer if you just switch the order of these two.
Yeah, because I switched the order and I got that exact answer.
Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll have to check the key, and I wish I knew like this thoroughly to understand why we did one minus the other. But because it's squared, I know all the numbers are going to be positive, so that's my rationale. It should be fine, I think. But I'll double check that for us.
We'll just remember that it's always top minus bottom unless you're rotating, then it's outside minus inside.
Right.
And then if I ever get a negative, should I just switch the sign and assume that the numbers?
Yeah, volume is always positive. Area can be negative.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, any questions? Let's go to the next self-check. All right, moving on to the next part of the self-check. So this is technically going to be self-check 11.4. All right, so we're trying to find the area bounded by those graphs. So we're just doing f of x minus g of x between the bounds of 0 and 1. So let's say that it's going to be, we'll say the area is going to be equal to the integral between 0 and 1 of, I'll do my square bracket here. It's going to be f of x minus g of x, and end the brackets, all of that multiplied by thickness, dx, and you should approximately get, let's check with our calculators.
Oh, wait for me.
So both of these I want to enter in because they're both kind of ugly functions, so let's get rid of this. So this is going to be 2x times the quantity of 1 minus x. And my gx is going to be my second function. That's going to be 3 times the quantity of x minus 1. And that's going to be times the square root of x, so second square root of x. And let's get out of that. So we're going to do math 9. And it's going to be integral of vars right, enter, that y1 minus vars right, enter 2, y2, and all of that is going to be with respect to x from 0 to 1, and we get, come on now.
Why are the calculators going so slow?
It takes a lot of effort to do those functions.
Yeah, I think
There it is. 1.133.
Woo.
1.133. There's our answer. All right. Let's move on to part B. All right, so we're rotating around the line y equals 2. Oops. Y equals 2, too far up, is going to be, I don't know, somewhere up there, I guess. So the outside function is g of x. So that's going to be the one that we're going to do first. So let's come back to, come on, drag a pencil. This is going to be, we need to multiply by pi because all these are going to be circle cross sections. And it's going to be the integral of, we'll do our square bracket. This is going to be our g of x. This is going to be on the outside, so we'll do that first. G of x, and we're going to have to subtract the 2 minus 2. All of that is going to be squared. And then we're going to subtract f of x. All of that is going to be subtracting 2 as well. And that's going to be squared.
So, Mr. Sindel,
Yes.
so when I wrote down my function, I wrote it down opposite and I got a negative. So then I just crossed that out and I rewrote it. Do you think that's okay?
I don't know, and I just texted John about 2 minutes ago. He might respond right now. He might respond in an hour. We'll figure out if that is okay. I mean,
Well, I crossed it out and I rewrote it correctly.
I think you do need to write it correctly. That would be my default answer. But unless he tells us otherwise, you need to make sure that it's outside minus the inside. All right, so let's do that on our calculators. All right, so I need to say it's going to be pi
Isn't
times.
the integral from 0 to 1?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
And you have to put
That's a point.
you have to put v equals.
I don't have to put the v equals, but I definitely need the 0 to 1. That's
No,
a point
you
right there.
have to, 'cause that's
Yeah.
what the volume is equal.
They're gonna think it's area.
Yeah, what if they think it's
Carly, that's a point for you. Isabel, that's being a little bit too nitpicky, I think.
No, it's not.
So pi times math
Just saying,
9.
I've gotten a point 3 days in a row.
That's good, Carly. You're on me. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm going to set up my parenthesis here. So this is going to be vars right, enter 2. It's my g of x. That's going to be minus 2 quantity squared. That's going to be minus, let's set up our next parenthesis. It's going to be vars right, enter. Y1 minus 2 quantity squared. And all of that is going to be with respect to x from 0 to 1. And we get, oh gosh, it's going to take a while again, I think.
Yeah, it really is.
I believe in you, calculator.
When I do multiply by pi last, it's a little quicker. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
16.179. 16.179.
Wait.
Perfect. All right. And finally, I'll do this for you, Isabel. It's going to be volume down here. I can tell already. And it's going to be a square. So find the volume. So this is going to be the integral between 0 and 1. And it's going to be my top function, f of x,
Yeah, that's
minus my bottom function, g of x. And all of that is going to be squared because this represents the length. This is now going to represent the square cross section. Now I'm multiplying it by the thickness, dx. Let's see what that is. So if I come back to my calculator, so that's going to be math 9, and it's going to be vars right, enter, y1 minus vars right, enter 2, y2. Oh, I need to do that squared, so I need to set up my parentheses. So I'm going to come back here and I say second insert parenthesis there. I need a parenthesis at the very end. That's squared. It's going to be with respect to x. That's going to be from 0 to. Okay, you guys see from John?
Oh, wait, I can't read that. I can't read that.
He says, "Yep, give them credit either way."
Yay!
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it really doesn't.
Thanks, John.
So we don't have to stress so much about finding which function is which.
I would, yeah, don't stress too much about it. But if you can just remember the order, it makes it a little bit more consistent in the future. From 0 to 1, and that's going to be 1.493. 1.493. My decimal did not work. There it goes. 1.493. Perfect. There's self check 11.4. Questions?
Nope, I got them all right.
Cool. We finished 3 minutes early.